that mainstream clean cooking in financing frameworks, including results. Number 3, county governments incorporate clean cooking targets in their county integrated development plans, CIDPs, and ensure public institutions such as schools, health facilities, and prisons adopt clean cooking solutions. Number 4, national treasury and county governments to fast-track letters of authorization to unlock carbon cooking projects. Finally, county governments engage the private sector actors and community organizations to... Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Senator Moruma. That statement is dropped. The Honorable Androm Tata. Here 2 statements. They are supposed to be read by Senator for Nairobi City County. Senator Sifuna. Those 2 statements are dropped. Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Request for a statement on the failure to for 48 former employees. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to statement Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of inter-county concerns regarding the failure by Northwest Water and Companies Limited to pay court-awarded compensation to 48 former employees. Mr. Speaker, sir, 48 former since 2018. When they were dismissed by the company without notice, without settlement, and their salaries arrears, and without remittance of statutory deductions dating back to 2017, the Employment and Labor Relations Court, in a ruling delivered on 21st September 2023, directed the company to pay the former employees a total consideration of Kenya shillings 100. This amount remain unpaid to date. In the statement, the committee should Loitoktok Water and Sewerage Company Limited, which is jointly owned by the county government of Machakos, Kajiado, and Makueni, to pay the court-awarded compensation to the on to the former employees in line with the court ruling. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion. Consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the county government's additional allocations. Number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025. Resumption of debate interrupted on Thursday, 30th October 2025. Question to be put.
Clerk, do we have the requisite quorum? All right, 2025 be now considered. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, honorable senators, for the convenience of the House, I will pursue pursuant to Standing Order 45 to rearrange today's order paper. We will permit call the Senate Majority Leader to take the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the chance to comment on this motion by Senator Cherargei. I'm not sure if you'd be very pleased, Mr. Speaker, because there are certain concerns I have with regards to the drafting. While in broad perspective, I support what this motion seeks to do, Mr. Speaker, I have concerns about item number 1 on the to-do list or the ask in terms of the resolution that this House is to pass. Senator Cherargei, Mr. Speaker, wants this House to resolve and propose to the Cabinet Secretary for Finance, because that's where all this eventually to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living. While at the very sight of it, it appears very noble, Mr. Speaker, there is a serious concern in the country, and there is a conversation which, as leaders, we must have devoid of emotions and appreciate where we are as a country, and have a hard look at the facts and see if the trend that currently obtains is sustainable, Mr. Speaker. And I appreciate that Senator Cherargei has just walked in, and this is his motion. So I'll have a take at what I had said earlier, Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the mover of the motion, that while I agree with you, Senator Cherargei, broadly, in broad perspective, about issues to do with the quality of trading environment that our interns have, because interns, the work environment. However, Mr. Speaker, I raised, and I was quick to raise, the fact that I do not agree with him on resolution number 1, which is the desire, Speaker, that we must have a conversation in this country about the earnings of public workers, Mr. Speaker, because we are staring at a very difficult decision. I think it was yesterday or earlier this morning, I have seen in one of the news items, the CS for Finance was speaking. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, you know, since our media houses started competing with bloggers, it's very difficult to trust anything they post about serious items unless you see a voice of a particular minister to understand or to put context into what they were saying. But broadly speaking, CS Mbadi was reminding the country that currently we are spending close to 90 billion every month paying public workers. Mr. Speaker, across the country, all the people that we pay here, which is a best year in terms of revenue performance, Mr. Speaker, we collected slightly above 2.5 trillion. If out of 2.5 trillion, Mr. Speaker, nearly 40% of that goes ahead to pay the salaries of public workers, Mr. Speaker, who in my estimation are barely, I don't know, I need to get the numbers correctly. That's why I want us to have this conversation, Mr. Speaker, and this is a conversation that we shall soon be having because we are about to begin consideration of the BPS, Mr. Speaker. If you compare the amount being spent, the people earning, vis-a-vis those that are contributing, Mr. Speaker, there's a serious discrepancy. And I gave the example a few weeks ago when I was moving a bill in this House, that in my own county, when I did the county workers, which is the total number of public servants that earn out of our shareable revenue, earning close to 40% of our shareable revenue in a county of public servants. We must reduce, Mr. Speaker. And these are things that we have to tell each other. It may not sound popular, Mr. Speaker, but even you that are being employed, you should be concerned because of what benefit will it be for you to carry a piece of paper saying it is an employment, yet at the rate at which you are. Mr. Speaker, the rate at which our public wage bill is growing is unsustainable. And that has been the case for the last decade plus. But nobody has had the courage to confront this statistic, Mr. Speaker, and ask the people of Kenya that we perhaps relook and have a conversation about what are our priority areas. Mr. Speaker, finance, this is what you have. This is what you need to do. Out of the things that you need to do, if you do this, but I know because I don't have the resources now, let me list a priority of the things that I need to do. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we have never had that conversation. And this is something, because I saw CS Mbadi speak about it, I think yesterday, that as a country we must speak under full realization. We need to move this conversation not just from counties. And as Senate, we have done a good job of highlighting how much is being spent by our counties on public, personnel compensation, Mr. Speaker. What is happening to the counties? It affects even our shareable revenue. Part of the reason why we cannot hit 450 billion, Mr. Speaker, is because we are being told of salaries, Mr. Speaker. Required, Mr. Speaker, in learning how to work in Public Service Commission, Mr. Speaker. While that is important, resolution number 1 is in conflict with a very important national conversation that this country has been yearning to have for the last 10 years plus, but nobody has had. He has pricked our conscience as a country to appreciate that there are certain decisions which we make as a country, which in the fullness of time will ensure that making is that this is a timely conversation which we are having here as a Senate. And I hope that the minister can reveal to us so that we appreciate. You have seen, Mr. Speaker, and I think there is nothing wrong with this culture of talking to each other and saying what is available and what is not available. You know, the problem we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, is that we want to make conversations about tax realization of eventually what will be the dynamo effect on the rest of the economy, Mr. Speaker. And that is something which as leaders we must learn to be honest with ourselves. The unfortunate bit about it, Mr. Speaker, is that we are yet to realize that we need to prioritize the needs of the country, Mr. Speaker, in comparison to the resources that are available, so that we appreciate and know what to face as a republic in this day and age. Look at the country like the United States of America. The government has been on a shutdown for I don't know how many weeks because people cannot agree on a budget, because they know that you must operate within a certain fiscal frame, which, if you bust it, you are endangering the sustainable standards of living in that particular country. You are burdening the future generations. How did we get to the levels of debt that we have today, Mr. Speaker? It was because of decisions that were made at the spur of the moment, emotional decisions, Mr. Speaker, trying to appease certain sections of society without realizing that in the fullness of time, we will affect every corner of the republic because of those decisions. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I agree that in terms of human capital development, Mr. Speaker, that is charged with the PSC, Public Service Commission, that it is important that we ensure that we have skilled public workers who can offer services to the citizens, Mr. Speaker, and be assured of the future generations that when we walk to a public office, Mr. Speaker, they getting it to only increment of stipend, Mr. Speaker. I believe there are other things that we can do for our interns beyond just increasing their salary, Mr. Speaker, that will end realization of knowing how much you may want to do some more research on these particulars to converse about, so that you guide us and help us appreciate that as we make some of these decisions, Mr. Speaker, what is the impact on the economy, Mr. Speaker? What will be the cost? And you know, Mr. Speaker, nowadays, I have seen a trend and a practice. I'm not sure anyway that I want to wade into that conversation because it's very alive. Even as I speak, Mr. Speaker, I have messages on my phone about that particular topic, which I don't want to get into at this particular time. But we must be serious, Mr. Speaker, as a country, as a leadership, the same way we are pushing counties to stick within the provisions of Regulation 25 of the PFM, which is to keep personnel emoluments below 35%, Mr. Speaker, that we must push the same from the national government as well. We must have a capping, Mr. Speaker. And these are some of the things that we said when we passed that motion, possible to satisfy everything at every time. And that being the case, then we must begin to ask ourselves, what do we prioritize at this point? What is it that we can pay? We must have a limit, Mr. Speaker, and say that beyond a certain limit, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing that you do. You just tell people it's not there and it's not there. This thing of selling hope, Mr. Speaker, on matters finances is what has made our life very difficult. Other countries, Mr. Speaker, are honest with each other. And they're able to tell people that, unfortunately, we are sorry. This is the maximum that we can employ at this particular time. Let's wait. If things get better, we'll have that conversation. But somehow, somewhere, beyond. And that is what has messed us up to get us to this point where we are consuming 90 billion shillings every month, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, that conversation is not complete, Mr. Speaker, because I know in my days in budget and finance, we've always asked, in these days of AI, Mr. Speaker, in this country where technological penetration is in levels higher than the rest of our peers in sub-Saharan Africa, Mr. Speaker, why is it not possible to establish the accurate number of public workers in this country? Mr. Speaker, I know for a fact because I read through it, you have no legitimate way of checking. And there are people who resist it within the structures of public service, Mr. Speaker, any attempt to establish the accurate number of public workers so that we know out of this 90 billion, for example, that CS Mbadi is telling us we are consuming every month. When you work in the core civil service, we need to know so that we can have a proper conversation that is informed, Mr. Speaker, by figures, so that we know where is it that we can trim. We can be honest with each other and say, I don't think this is sufficient a number to have. All we read, Mr. Speaker, and we are fighting about it is that, oh, we have a shortage of policemen, we are employing 10,000 this year, we have a shortage of this other one, we are adding this particular number. That conversation cannot be complete, Mr. Speaker, unless the National Treasury leads the country into having a conscious conversation about earnings in the public service, Mr. Speaker. And that will only happen if they are open with the figures. It's not enough for the minister to just tell us, oh, it's 90 billion. 90 billion paying who? Where? How many, Mr. Speaker, in total? I believe that until those figures are brought to fore, this conversation is not complete, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, while I agree with what Senator Cherargei is proposing to us, I feel that for him to do proper justice to his motion, he has to add the numbers that we are asking for. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Senator Sifuna.
I know he's watching us from the US. I was not able to take his statements because he had delegated to me, but I'm sure I will get opportunity to do them. But we have to have difficult conversations with the senator for Nandi. The way the majority leader was saying, Mr. Speaker, when this motion was brought, because I also have advisors on public service, I thought there, yeah, we as leaders must accept that we don't know everything and that there are experts in this country. Speaker, if you public service, it's just that we have not created an environment for them to feel safe to come and offer those services here at home. So I spoke to somebody who is very well versed with this issue of internship in the public service that we lawyers do, so that you are able to get some practical experience in the field that you studied. Before you go into formal employment. Now, the way that it was designed, at least this is what I was told, 1,000 shillings, which, Honorable Speaker, if you remember, I don't know where you went for your pupillage, but Honorable Speaker, I went to pupillage, the first one at a law firm called Cairo and McCourt. Teach me at that law firm is more than anything that I have learned in the university. And those of you who went to pupillage at under Mr. McCourt, remember he had a favorite term for all people who were not properly backed. And I will always appreciate everything that I learned and Mr. McCourt. In 2005, he was than anything else. And I remember it was very tough because surviving in Nairobi on such a stipend was very, very difficult. And Speaker, he used to make it even more painful that instead of just giving you that 7,500 across the counter, he would actually write you a check. So the Speaker, we used to just see like he just wanted to spite us some more. And those days you had to wait for checks to mature. I don't know if that we have failed to create enough opportunities for young people to work. People want to work. Speaker, if you saw the sheer numbers of people who apply for jobs when an advertisement is put out, these are not lazy people who think they want to earn an easy living. They want to work for the country. It is for us as a leadership to create these opportunities for them. So even when somebody lands an internship in public service, they actually see it as a job. And they are always looking to see if they can be confirmed in those roles and to push the envelope as much as possible. Because after you finish that internship, Senator Cherargei, you go out there and there are no other opportunities for you. That is where the problem is, Honorable Speaker. So, for me, really, if you talk about this amount, these ones are doing a bit better than the junior secondary school teachers. You can imagine who are earning 17,000 shillings, Honorable Speaker, a full-time salary. Surviving in this city on 17,000 shillings is almost a miracle. And when I hosted the teachers for World Teachers' Day on the 5th of October, they are telling us stories, Honorable Speaker, that first of all, as a man, there's no way you can bring your wife, if you're married, to Nairobi to stay with you under that 17,000 shillings. The wife has to remain at home there, up country. And Honorable Speaker, you know the strain that it puts on marriages when there is that distance between the husband and wife. It is impossible to find decent housing. Speaker, I don't know what the global recommended amount of money or percentage you should spend, of your salary you should spend on accommodation. But at least 30%, Honorable Speaker, should go to finding your accommodation. If you did 30% of 17,000, it's just slightly above 5,000 in silence. If you speak to them, they will tell you even the rate of suicide is very high. What I want to tell them, because I know they are watching, and this behavior started with this other union, Honorable Speaker, that we were trying to push for permanent and pensionable terms. I think it was the doctors. Oh, no, the UHC workers. We want to help, but please don't harass us. Speaker, you get a leader, maybe one of the leaders in the union, whoever it is, have a sit down. We are reasonable people. Have a conversation with us and we will represent you. But Speaker, this idea of just spamming leaders from morning to evening, even you cannot read any other messages on your phone. It is just confirming JS teachers permanent and pensionable. I want to look at them in the eye and tell them, are you really helping yourselves by spamming the very people that you want to help to survive on 17,000 shillings, let alone 25,000 shillings in this country, in this town? Speaker, there is another, factor for Senator Cherargei to consider. But then the unintended consequence might be that there is a reduction in the number of opportunities that are then offered. To the young people for training. So, Speaker, unless the National Assembly allocates more money towards this internship program in the public service, it might be very difficult to enhance without having a reduction in the number of people who are offered those opportunities. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, there's something to consider that the Public Service Commission, now, Senator Cherargei, when we pass this motion, you have said them to increase the stipend offered to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living. I don't know how we are going to circumvent the fact that we are dealing with an independent commission. Maybe, Honorable Speaker, maybe there could be another way of how to increase the allocation towards this program. Then we can have not only more young people joining the program, but also them living on a proper stipend. Speaker, it is incumbent upon us as a leadership, other conversation, and the reason why I was late, Honorable Speaker, we had been invited to have a conversation with the Ambassador of Germany and France, and they talk about the business environment that has been created in the country, that they would want, does not really care as a plant where it is in the world. You can plant it in the middle of Naivasha, but there are certain things you have to put there. You have to have the proper infrastructure, protect the business itself. They are willing to invest. And what we must do as leaders is to look at the circumstances of doing business in this country, the taxation regime that we put in place, and so on and so forth. And even, Speaker, as far as the dispute resolution mechanisms, one of the reasons why you see many of these international contracts have clauses for arbitration or settlement of disputes through arbitration in foreign jurisdictions is because they have no faith in the Kenyan judicial system to be able to resolve disputes. And disputes are commonplace in business. It can be a dispute about anything. So, Honorable Speaker, that is where the responsibility for leadership lies, that we are able to look at all of these things to be able to create a level playing field for all business people from across the world, and they will most definitely invest. We were discussing about even the regime that supports privately initiated proposals, private-public partnerships. The law is that we are required as a country to let the whole world know what are the priority projects for which we are seeking partnership. It should not be a secret like how we handled the airport, Honorable Speaker. It was a terrible way to handle a project of that magnitude. Let the country know that we want a second terminal. It's privately initiated. We know it will come to a specific person. That person has a responsibility to disclose. And I want to thank the CS for Treasury Mbadi, because after that debacle of Adani, I saw him publish in the newspapers some guidelines on how to handle those privately initiated proposals. And those are the conversations we want to have, because some of us, Honorable Speaker, are believers in the Constitution. If you look at Article 10, everything that is done in this country requires to follow those guidelines in Article 10, including transparency. Let us not wait to see on social media that, oh, the airport has been sold. No, that communication needs to come from government. They say, we have received this proposal, we are looking at it, and this is what they are saying we should do, so that we encourage investors to be able to invest in our country and create the employment that is needed. Speaker, we had a delegation here in Parliament from the German here. Ukiwa that today we have not eaten. And then you don't do, some of us would go to the ends of the world for our children. So the conversation we are having, even as Europe grapples with the question of immigration, the source of the problem is here. Can we create an environment in Africa, in our countries, that discourages people to go out? Even this issue of sending people out there, I don't know why anyone would be proud. Because basically, you are piggybacking on efforts of other countries to be able to create opportunities for their people. Then you say we have sent 10,000 Kenyans there. How many of them are coming here to work in businesses that you've built? That is the question we need to ask. And how many Kenyans have you provided to work? They want to be able to put into practice the things that they went to school to learn, and that is our responsibility as leadership, Nandi, and I hope that there can be a lasting solution to the problem of unemployment in Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me an opportunity to also add my voice into this important debate. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to start and pick from where Senator Sifuna left it. He said he does not know how many people do really come back here. I'm one of those who got an opportunity to go through a dual system, education system in Germany. Indeed, it opens an opportunity for you to develop the experience, especially in technical field. I am a software engineer, diploma with scenes.Each. I want to support this motion and say, indeed, we need to look at the whole spectrum of how we're doing it. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not just enough to add on the training that we're giving people doing the apprenticeship or doing the attachment. What we need to do, we need to introduce a system that encourages to do a dual system, especially in technical field. More in the attachment that they did learn in the university, something that has also been confirmed by Senator Sifuna, in some technical courses where you need to develop the fine feeling of what you are doing, especially in precision engineering. You need to develop the passion. It would be important, Mr. would allow the dual system for schools and enterprises to coexist, Mr. Speaker. This would only be possible, Mr. Speaker, if we make sure that we bring the research center in our institutions of learning, especially higher learning, and then we give them the opportunity to mitigate some of the costs that we incur through this apprenticeship. Mr. Speaker, indeed, this country has continued pumping over 1 million graduates into the market. But we've not created enough opportunity. And it starts there from where my colleague said, and I want to say that I was happy when I was also the share of energy, that we realized one of the biggest hindrances we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, is the cost of power. With the cost of power going up to 26 cents USD per kilowatt hour, Mr. Speaker, we are barely any investments. But, Mr. Speaker, technology has evolved, nuclear energy has become more safer, it has become more affordable, and most importantly, we have now mini reactor, we have small nuclear reactor that are able to produce bunches of up to 200, 300 megawatts, and that for about 80 years, Mr. Speaker. The best investment, Mr. Speaker, like wind, you have a life expectancy of 20 years, investing so much money. And now that, Mr. Speaker, Kenya has gone and is almost getting there, that we are able to invest our pension fund in some of our development projects. It is the high time, Mr. Speaker, that we relook at some of the dynamics that attract investments. And we will not achieve that, Mr. Speaker, unless we ensure that the cost of energy has been brought down. The marginalized counties that make about 80% of the landmass in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, they remain unconnected to the national grid. Running a diesel generator, Mr. Speaker, you cannot be able to produce any product that can be compete with any other product from anywhere in any part of the world. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is the high time that we adopt the modern technology as we look at mainstreaming our schools to become duality now that we have the CBC system, where kids right from grade 4 would be introduced to a day or two per week where they go and then they make a choice that is informed of what they want to be, and not wait until they do the exam and then the exam results would choose them what to become. Mr. Speaker, most of us waited until they graduated to see what they want to become in life because of the competition that's there. We did not have the luxury to make a choice right from kindergarten. I would want to become this and that, and they would get an opportunity to visit those kind of industries, those kind of service providers, and indeed make their decision and affirm that that is what they want to do. Mr. Speaker, that is the only way that can ensure that we are able to absorb the ever younger population that's getting younger into the job market. But, Mr. Speaker, we must also realign ourselves with the changing technology. We must also be able to leverage the way we do things with the Internet of Technology. We must also be able to leverage the way we do things with the Internet of Things, so to align it with the production, because artificial intelligence, as much as people may not want to agree with me, it's going to become as an important production factor as capital is, as land is, and as labor is. Mr. Speaker, if we do not address the issues of power shortage we have, with a spending reserve of less than 10%, Mr. Speaker, there is no serious investor that's going to come to this country. And without attracting enough serious investors, without value addition, which will not be possible if the cost of power becomes very high, Mr. Speaker, it is the high time we look at the model. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, I'm a proud supporter of the KK government, because for the first time in 62 years, we are able to use our pension fund to invest in our own infrastructure development project. Mr. Speaker, we have, for the our people have been detailing after working for 36 years with a saving of only 98,000. It will be possible, Mr. Speaker, to grow our own pension it will be possible, Mr. Speaker, to save on the foreign exchange that we've been losing annually on repaying the debt, and most importantly, to safeguard the consumers from the fluctuation of the hard currency. That, Mr. Speaker, those are some of the things that we'll be able to do, and most importantly, to ensure that as we move the younger generation into the next phase, where they'll need to move this country and make this country a developed country, we must relook at the way we are doing our things. And therefore, I want to thank Senator Shelagay for this wonderful motion, but I want to tell him, yes, indeed, there are a lot that needs to be considered, and one of the things that we need to be streamed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to also add my voice to the motion by Senator Cherage on this internship program by the Public Service Commission. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I must say that the millions of young people that have left schools and colleges and are not engaged, to give them an opportunity to choose career paths and sharpen those career paths that they choose. The Speaker, unemployment is a serious threat to national stability. I have a different way of looking at engagements with the young people, especially in major cities. The Speaker, every time politicians and political leaders, even church people, every time you call a meeting during the week, a rally, a crusade, and you see tens of thousands of young people attending those rallies and those meetings and those crusades. The Speaker, it speaks to the problem of unemployment in this country. It speaks to a situation where we have young people that are not engaged, are on the ground collecting stories and filing stories to the newsrooms. But when it comes to recognition and reward, they are the least paid, they are the least interns that are taken in by the PSC. The Speaker, I would want to add a voice. It is time that we. The Speaker, I would want to add a voice. It is time that we begin to ask youth in a proper way to ensure that we create opportunities for young people to prosper and to be engaged. Mr. Speaker, I know there is a subject that is not very, very sweet with a lot of people, but it is one that we must confront. I was earlier discussing it with the Senator of Mombasa here a few minutes ago. You know, Mr. Speaker, there is money that we collect from all of us who are payslips called the housing levy. And collect that money, Mr. Speaker, there are projects taking place in some places, not taking place everywhere. But the most agonizing thing, Mr. Speaker, is to be told that that part of that money has been invested in treasury bills. Mr. Speaker, let me say this. That, Mr. Speaker, the best way of doing these things is there was an agenda of this administration and even those of us who are in the Azimio coalition, Mr. Speaker, to create and equip at least one factory in every county. At least for us, that was very clear. That, Mr. Speaker, we need to have not just the public service, but even the private sector to get into the space of creating opportunities for young people to be profitably engaged. Mr. Speaker, this program, as rolled out by the Public Service Commission in 2019, as I said, it is a good program. But there are opportunities and there is room for improvement in this program, Mr. Speaker. In this way, seeing as it were that we have so many young people out there who have graduated from schools and colleges and they are not engaged, Mr. Speaker, there is an opportunity to make it mandatory that every institution of government must create avenues for internship for young people. There is room for improvement, Mr. Speaker, even for the private sector institutions, so that internship becomes something Kenyan, you know, in a way that we are able to absorb our own people and give them opportunities. And in it, Mr. Speaker, there should be clear career progression paths. So that a child or a young person joining an institution as an intern knows that if they perform well, there is opportunity for them, first of all, after such a period of time, to be absorbed. In the job, and secondly, to progress through the ranks of that institution, that organization, even the top level in that organization. So, Mr. Speaker, the pride that I see some of us take in saying that we have sent X number of young people to do jobs in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East. Mr. Speaker, that is something that we should not be proud of. We are exporting young talent, energetic young people to go and help other economies to grow and prosper. Absorbed locally. Mr. Speaker, I've seen some county governments have done a good job. There are some county governments that are running youth programs, you know, absorbing X number of youths in their counties, giving them opportunities to undertake important roles in the development of the counties, and at some point, after a period of time, they train them and tool them to invest. That this motion is an important motion, is one thing that we need to think about very, very seriously and ensure that it does not just happen with the Public Service Commission, but expand the scope to other institutions, the private sector, the county governments, so that we take in a lot more young people in useful and profitable engagement. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, first and foremost, I want to thank Honourable Sergei. Honourable Sergei, actually, most of his motions are welfare issues. I want him to keep up, actually, because always he looks into the matters of, the sportsmen, the youth, the women, and I'm really impressed on that. Honourable Speaker, actually, the issue of engaging students, young men and women who have completed the university into interns is a very important thing. It builds confidence, it gives them exposures, so at least other kids, when they interact in workplaces, they learn more from each other. Honourable Speaker, in the past, when we were in universities, we used to have field attachments where we go different parts of the country. We learn new friends, we learn new skills. Actually, what you learn in class and what you learn in the field is actually, what you learn in the field is more helping and more practical. Honourable Speaker, one thing I've seen is now that this country, so many students are now exiting the university. Now that the system now has been changed, the CBE and the CBC, I don't know. Things have now changed that, and then we'll have millions of Kenyans who are exiting the universities. Now grade 9 to the university again. And we expect more and more young men to be going to universities and then remain again unemployed. Honourable Speaker, I think we need to change even our programs. We need to change our policies. One thing that we cannot always be looking for only a job in an office. We must also be skill-oriented. Technology must have been improved. As rightly said, we also need, we must give, avenues for the people to do job, self-employed. Honourable Speaker, one thing I have seen is actually most of the Kenyans are only looking for a job to work in offices. One place that is so untapped is actually in the agriculture sector. If you look at this country, currently we are becoming we are becoming only consumers. We are importing food from our neighbors and from outside. Honourable Speakers, millions of money is given as relief to drought-stricken areas every year, and that food comes from outside this country. And then we see chunk of lands that have been left idle. I think it's a high time that we must have a land tenure system that you compel the owners of those big land that remain idle for many years should be even taxed or produce food or allowed to use the same youth men and women who are ready to do farming so they can be able to increase food production. This country's food is secure now as we talk, and we have a lot of idle land. The land tenure system in this country must be changed. That we are dividing our lands into to 2 acres, 3 acres, and therefore we're not even able to produce food. Today we are getting food from our neighbors, and they think if things continue, then this country will be becoming a country of consumers and only white-collar jobs. So it is high time that we must change our priorities. We must tell our students and our people that they must learn to till the land, they must be able to produce their own food, and they must be able to sell that food to the government so that the government can buy the food in a sort of importing food. And we're spending so much money in looking for buying food from the neighborhoods. And therefore, Honourable Speaker, I think we have a policy issues that we need to change our policies. Honourable Speaker, one other thing is we have Juakalis, we have now students for Intervet. Then we need to now think about how these people be not only molding metals and these kind of things and making buckets, but they should be thinking that they should be able to produce something parts of the vehicles. It is sort of important, something like discs. It is sort of important like, rims. Then the Kenyans must be able to produce those kind of things. So at least we can be able to go in that industry. Our people can be able to produce enough savannas, and then the wheels, what do you call it, rims, and even many other parts of the vehicle that can be done in this place, in this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think we must be now self-employment oriented, not looking for a job. The interns should be given money to self-employment. They should be able to go and do farm. They go and they tilt the farm or the land. They produce food. They sell, and that's the most productive and most engaging activity today in this country. And there is no one time. Even if you become a vegetable farmer, you will be able to have in the market always. If they produce, maize, the government should be able to buy from them. So that these guys, at every one given time, they are motivated that they can go and get employment. They produce food for this country, and that we can be able to now be very food secure in this country. One other thing, Honorable Speaker, I think our education system is only oriented. It's more of a rote memory than being practical. Most of these people, even the kids in other countries, you see them producing computers, you see them producing a lot of beautiful things, and the same things, technology is being actually taken at early age. The students are learning a lot of things. But this business, this telling students go and draw something, go and cut boxes and do a molding, this is not what we want to do. We need to have at least a technical-oriented learning of our children at early ages so that they can be able to produce or make computers. They should make something, at least something that will be able to sell in this country. Honorable Speaker, I think we are wrong also even our education system that we need to review it on a serious note, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the most important thing is, as I said, one other thing, Honorable Speaker, I think this intern business also should go to counties. Honorable Speaker, in the counties, if you look at the books, the amount of money that is spent on personal employment is just too huge. Some counties are going up to 72% to employ people. I think, and they're not even productive. So I think we need to actually, what we need to is actually to streamline the systems of engagement of the people who are looking for employment. That the Public Service Commission must be able to produce and control the people who should be employed, who are going to be employed. The counties actually are employing people on their own. We have no services or the systems that says that you have a sequence of employing people. Interns, they go and do the intern, they get some little and then thereafter they end up again going back to the streets. I think we need to create a system where a database where those interns are engaged and their skills are known, and that's at least if it's going to be an NOS, they go back to the forces. If it's going to be food production or crop production, whatever for farming, then they go for farming and they encourage actually. So I think what we need to do is actually to look at our systems of production, it's our system of labor, our systems of employment, and then we harmonize the schemes of employing people as it is. We are haphazardly actually doing interns, and this kind of internship is not going to help the people. With those few remarks, I beg to support the motion.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this very important motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the young people in this country are very aggressive, and most of them are very aspiring and look forward to a big picture and a big future. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the trouble we have now is world over with young people and with opportunities. Mr. Speaker, the idea of internships is very good. And in fact, in the Committee of National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities, every time a government agency comes over to Parliament to meet this committee, one of the questions we do ask is how many interns are in the organization, and indeed quite a number have been posted. We also find out what is the distribution of these interns in terms of ethnicity and also regional balance, to make sure that when interns are posted, then you are able to pick and balance the country and give an opportunity at least to a young person. It is true, Mr. Speaker, that the monies they are earning is very meager, and they may not be able to do much about it, although some of them have developed into a full job out of this internship. But unfortunately, that cannot take care of all the young people in the country. There are quite a number of young people who actually, after university, have decided to go to farming. And I saw a television program, and a few from Uasin Gishu, particularly Honorable Oscar Sudi's constituency, who are growing chili and exporting. But from the interview, you could see they are very knowledgeable about agriculture. Some of them never even went through agriculture training, but they are able to read on the internet and get to find the best practices and the best way to make sure that crop is done. But from their look, they didn't look like they are young people who come from ordinary villages. These are young people most probably come from well-to-do families and unable to find a job, have decided to create jobs and through farming, and are, of course, well-funded to be able to have the capital, they have the land, and they're able to do something and actually employ quite a number of young people in this country. And I believe many young people, given an opportunity, will really go into manufacturing, will go into agriculture, will go into cattle keeping. They'll be very professional about it, and they'll be able to earn a living and even create jobs for others. And therefore, job opportunities are not only with government. Internship is not the final solution. Internship cannot employ all the young people in the country. And Mr. Speaker, all over the world now, everybody is being sent to their home, especially if you come from Africa. If you go to Germany right now, most of the demonstrations in town are because some young people who were born in Germany of African origin or Afghans, they're being told to go back to their homes. And even those who have already, been working and living there, there comes a time now they need to go back home. It is even now impossible to send money home for those who are working abroad, for the young people working abroad. Every country has come up with very stringent measures and taxes such that you can't send money home now for other people to benefit from here, Mr. Speaker, and to be able to begin small businesses. So it's a worldwide challenge, Mr. Speaker, and it calls really for a nation like our nation to do certain things in a certain way to make sure we encourage creativity. There's a lot of work, in the creative world. There's a lot of work, Mr. Speaker, through internet writing. There's a lot of work, Mr. Speaker, if we use the IT, technology, and Kansas City, Mr. Speaker. This is what is being prepared for. But Kansas City cannot be and cannot grow into full city without water, which is Twaka Dam, which for 3 years now are stalled. And Mr. Speaker, we need all these things so that Kansas City can employ a lot of people. A lot of people can work in the space. A lot of people can work through internet, and all that is job creation and can accommodate a lot of people who would be interns. They can also do internship with online companies, Mr. Speaker, and be able to learn and pick a lot of information and be able to, Mr. Speaker, to employ themselves. So we should be looking at self-employment in future, job creation. But as the Honorable Amatinga said, Mr. Speaker, when the cost of electricity is high, and I'm sure manufacturers like the Senator of Nakuru can tell you, when the cost of electricity is very high and the cost of fuel is very high, then it automatically, cost of investing becomes also very high and difficult. So there must be incentives to young people investing and any other investor, because when an investor, like the Senator of Nakuru, invests, they end up hiring thousands of young people. Some of them become salespeople. I know some from my village who have become millionaires, having worked with her and learned culture and having actually gone through internship through her. And today they are big-time business people who do the business she does and who do the supplies, and they are making a living out of that. And these are not people who have gone through very big education. They are just people who have basic education, but have learned business from the Senator of Nakuru. So a lot of other business people can do that, can help many other people grow, can help them, to do marketing, can help them grow their companies, and also, love their country and want to work for their country. Mr. Speaker, we should all love our country, and one of the best ways people love their country and build their country so that their country builds them is through voting. But what is happening now, Mr. Speaker? You go and register as voters. I am expecting them when the IBC opens, that they are there so that they can be able to vote. and change the nation and live what they want, so that some of them can participate in election and come to this parliament, come to Senate. But unless you register as a voter, Mr. Speaker, how will you ever become a senator? Unless you register as a voter, how will you become a member of National Assembly? How will you become an MCA? How will you create change? So, Mr. Speaker, there is also a need for change of attitude with our people, because 90% of success, Mr. Speaker, experts say, comes and originates from the attitude one is adopting. So, Mr. Speaker, there is a lot of growing depression in the world. You have seen what is happening in the Sudan. You have seen what is happening all around us. You have seen what is happening in Russia, Mr. Speaker, after the war with Ukraine. Some of the young people are going home, mentally disturbed. Those who have participated in the war with the limbs missing, and then when they see a black person walking or in a train, you have a train attack, Mr. Speaker. So understanding that this problem is worldwide, then we need to narrow down to our country. As much as it is very good for the government to train as many young people as possible in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the Ministry of Interior, in all the organization we have, the national corporations. Mr. Speaker, there is also need to encourage local investment, creativity, and also, Mr. Speaker, to encourage young people to begin businesses, no matter how small, and grow them, those who have that aspiration. And, Mr. Speaker, it is important we encourage also local industries to grow again. Mr. Speaker, a lot of engineers who leave the university, they will join the engineering companies, most of them run by the businessmen, especially from the Asian origin. They will go to industrial area and earn between 20 and 30,000. That will give them hope. They will gain the necessary experience, because a lot of jobs are asking for experience. And then after some time, Mr. Speaker, they will be able to become artisans themselves, to practice engineering, and get, a holding of their life. But, Mr. Speaker, when we increase the taxes, when we increase the cost of living, and these companies migrate, investors leave our country, investors get frustrated by high taxes, investors get frustrated by riots, and the people are unable to run their businesses. Then, Mr. Speaker, then we don't build the country that way. The best thing is to make sure that the environment in the country is suitable for investors, so that investors bring in more interns in different fields, especially engineering, manufacturing, all that. And, Mr. Speaker, then you will find a lot of young people are occupied usefully, and they are getting the necessary experience, and they want to live. As the Senator of Nairobi has said, when you pay somebody living in Nairobi 17,000, they are a graduate, they are of age to get married, they have a wife and children in the rural area, they are unable to meet the expectation of the village. They are unable to meet the expectation of those who took them to school, Mr. Speaker. They are unable, to meet the expectation of their communities. And therefore, it is important that this internship space expands. Even there are many employment opportunities in the religious industry, Mr. Speaker. In the churches, there are so many other places young people can go as interns, young pastors. They go into internship. They go to work, for the church, Mr. Speaker. But there are some frustrating practices and laws which make sure that these churches which are coming up are not even able to prosper. And those are some of the areas even will be dealing with the souls and mentoring the souls of young people, so that, Mr. Speaker, they can also be close to their God, and then God prospers them. So, Mr. Speaker, to sum up, the main idea is to build an industrial country. The main idea is to invest in agriculture, in businesses, investors in the country, Mr. Speaker, who are comfortable, so that they can be able to accommodate a lot of young people, give them hope, make them earn something, the earning grows, and also the economy of the country grows, Mr. Speaker, and such that people now come to our country. Mr. Speaker, the tourism industry, when we have many young people dealing with the tourism industry. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the Honorable Cherargei, the Senator, for this great idea. Mr. Speaker, other than focusing on the government, if you could expand it to include all spheres, so that even in my law firm, Mr. Speaker, I can be able to hire a few more. But when I don't have much business, Mr. Speaker, then I'll be sending the young lawyers away. But when I'm doing well, I'm able to hire more, and then they work for me, and then they pay more, Mr. Speaker, and build the nation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Cherargei, why are you interrupting members when they are contributing to your motion? You know, if you don't want members to contribute, then I call you to reply, and we move on. But you know how to give it, isn't it? You know the procedure of giving information to the members. Not just echoing someone who is contributing to your motion. Next is Senator Consolata Nabwire Wakwabubi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for according me this opportunity to contribute towards the motion. Most of the issues have been tackled, but I'll have a rider to what the 4 senators have presented. One, concerning the monetary stipend, I think there is also need for us to have a supportive infrastructure and welfare of these interns, in the sense that we need to enhance other aspects, like maybe having some health insurance for them, having some transport subsidy for them, and also maybe improving on the digital tools, since the youths are so much in the digital space. I want also to add the issue of having transparent reporting and oversight mechanism, which are some of the issues that can be added to that motion by Senator Cherargei, that we need to have some public defender, somebody who can be a voice of the citizen in form of an ombudsman or ombudslady, because I'm gender sensitive. Then there's also need to have a legal or other regulatory backing to push the legal rights of the interns in their internship spaces, since some of them tend to encounter some injustices, and therefore it is important to have such like a framework. So the internship guidelines can be amended to some level. And from my perspective, or rather from one of the committees that I serve on national cohesion, equal opportunity, and regional integration, I would also propose that we have an equitable distribution of internship opportunities, so that we also decentralize them to the counties or back to the grassroots. Because we find that most of them are centralized in urban centers like Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu. So that hampers the participation of other maybe youths. As a Kenyan and as a leader and a representative of the people, I want to point out that the youth bulge is tantamount to a demographic bomb that we are just sitting on. Instead of looking at the demographic dividends that we need to fetch as a country, we are silently watching. And therefore, that is why we are having a lot of unrest from our young generation, because they are idling. That is why we are having them engage in substance abuse, drug abuse, and all that, trafficking, and engaging in various vices. So as a country, it is important that we utilize this youth population to boost our economic growth and to boost development, since I tend to believe that youths are highly productive as compared to the advanced age where I also belong. But I'm not negating the fact that I need to be here. I need to be here so that I articulate issues on their behalf back at home. So I would also advise that maybe the Ministry of Public Service, in consultation with the Human Capital Development, can carry out a cost-benefit analysis to establish if this thing is viable. Let us look at it and carry out a cost-benefit analysis, because it will actually propel us to do informed choices, or rather informed decisions, to accommodate our youths. We need to establish clear transition pathways that have got realistic job prospects, so that the youths don't find the internship spaces just for free labor or as empty spaces for running errands, because they also need to build on their skill sets and to develop their skills. We also need to promote innovation and maybe have some rewarding, to reward outstanding interns. So we can create an incentive scheme whereby we also reward them, appreciate them. You can give them certificates or even opportunities for further training. We are wasting our young population. We are really staring at having brain drain instead of brain gain. So as a country, I think we need to look at that. There are so many points, but I know most of them have been captured by the distinguished senators. So we only keep beefing up. So personally, I also want to accede to this motion by Senator Cherargei, and I acclaim you for proponing that motion. I support.
Very well, Senator Joyce Chepkoech, Korir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think much has been said by the honorable colleagues, but let me take a special. Let me congratulate Honorable Cherargei for the efforts that he has really put forward in terms of making sure that a number of issues are addressed. Honorable Speaker, the motion that is before us is a motion that is affecting our youths. And I want to say that a number of colleagues have mentioned a number of things. Honorable Speaker, the request by the motion mover in terms of making sure that there is increment in terms of the salaries or the stipends that are being given, I think, Honorable Speaker, with the common sense, life has become so hard, and it's only prudent if we can try as much as possible. I know this is an issue that is going to affect the two houses in terms of budgeting, and it will be prudent for the two houses to give a special consideration to this, because this is the only way that we can assist our youth. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, a number of youths are suffering back at home, and I want to say that these youths have utilized their time. A number of them are so learned, only to find no space to work, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say that despite the challenges or despite the efforts that has been put forward by the government in making sure that they have lent a hand to a number of youth through a number of programs, ranging from affordable housing, which I think a number of youths are operating there. I know, Honorable Speaker, they are paid peanuts, which at the end of the day, it might not sustain them. But though it's a way where I think the government is trying as much as possible to make sure that it is assisting them. I know a number of ministries also have been able to observe a number of youths, including the TSC, which has played a key role in terms of making sure that a number of teachers are observed. But still, a number of teachers who graduated back in 2010, 2011, the P1s, are still within the ground, Honorable Speaker, and attended, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to say that it is indeed a challenge, despite the fact that we have all these programs. The ministries have even invented a way of taking the youths abroad. But there should be a clear way. Sometimes they take ages for them to even actualize the issue of documentation, which I want to believe if they are given room during, for example, if a public service give them the opportunity to serve as the interns, it should be they should be given the first priority when it comes to jobs abroad, because at the end of the day, they have gained the experience. They have gotten the opportunity. Now they can exit so that others can also get the opportunity to be trained and gain that experience, Honorable Speaker. So I want to say the fast tracking of the documentation is what we are also requesting the Ministry of Labour through the assistance of our committees, so that at least when these youths are done with their induction or the internship, at least they can be able to transit to the next place. Because there is no need of them just being given the opportunity to serve for 3 months, and then they just come and furnish again within the villages. So I think it would be prudent for us as a government, to make sure that at least there is a proper transition of these interns to a better place. And not only that, Honorable Speaker, I also know there are a number of programs. For example, the Nyota program that is trying to assist those who have not even gone to schools. I know it's a challenge. We don't know, of course, the government is trying to make sure that at least there is some engagement with the youth, but I also want to believe that it is always prudent for them to be taken through some induction, so that even if they are going to be given these monies, they will be able to utilize and make sure that it changes their lives, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are a number of youths that are stressed in this country, and they have even engaged in drugs just because they just want to avoid the responsibilities, because the responsibilities are so much compared to what they are earning, Honorable Speaker. I want to say that I will also encourage the government to really try, especially the Minister of Trade, to really try assist the investors in terms of the requirements, so that at least we can have a number of investors who can assist us and develop a number of factories that can also allow our youth to really be employed and earn their daily lives. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I just want to say that it is good that we also have funds that also enables our youths to do the innovation and do their developments, like the Youth Fund. We have the Hustler Fund, which I don't know how far it has gone. This was a fund that was established also, which was supposed to assist our youth, but I know a number of them could not even could not continue because of the challenges that is that they are getting because of lack of inductions, lack of room to also be given opportunity to learn from those who are well established, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, I just want to say that I support this motion, and I request that maybe we go further in terms of making sure that we allocate the budget so that we can allow the CS to really implement and make sure that our youths are really attended. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next is Senator Mofo Yamwenda.
Speaker, I have been around for some time. I thought maybe I'm a bit forgotten. Honorable Speaker, this is a well-thought motion by my good friend Senator Cherargei. It's a motion that touches on a number of issues that are beautiful in the country right now. Honorable Speaker, as much as the Public Service Commission is doing a great job in absorbing these young people as interns, much more needs to be done in this country. We are sitting on a very serious crisis as a country, because I think unemployment is a menace which is eating into our society every other day. We are producing young ones from the universities. We are producing ones from tertiary colleges. We are producing ones from middle level colleges. And the job opportunities in this country, Honorable Speaker, are very rare, very scarce. It's a matter that needs a lot of dispensation, it's a lot of discussion. We need to have a very serious conversation as a country on the future of this nation as far as unemployment is concerned. Honorable Speaker, I am shocked. Mr. Speaker, protect me from the two neighbors. They are making some round discussions when I'm contributing to their motion. Honorable Speaker, when I looked at the stipends that are paid to these young people in terms of interns across the board, the PSC, the Teacher Service Commission, I don't know how those minds brought up those figures into being. How do you expect somebody to survive in Nairobi with 15,000 shillings in this current situations in this country? Honorable Speaker, it is very pathetic that a government agency, for that matter, would sit down and decide to pay a graduate 15,000 shillings or 7,000 shillings for that matter in towns like Nairobi, towns like Mombasa, or any other big town for this country, even in the rural areas, because I think the living standards across the country is just the same, whether you're in Nairobi, whether you're in rural areas. I think people have embraced modernity. I don't know where in this country, in Nairobi, in any other part of this country, Honorable Speaker, you can get a house, a decent house of less than 10,000 shillings. So I think as much as, Honorable Speaker, we say the Public Service Commission is trying to absorb these unemployed youth, then we need to caution them to review some of these space that these boys are getting. On top of that, Honorable Speaker, as a country, I have captioned some honourable members talk of exporting labour to some other countries. But of course, Honourable Speaker, we also have to have a discussion on how we are supposed to put up job-absorbing opportunities for our young people. We have so many opportunities that are supposed to be exhausted, that are supposed to be exploited in this country. Honourable Speaker, if you go to some counties like Tharaka Nithi, where I come from, you rarely find a place where a young person would wake up one morning and say he has gone to maybe to look for an hustle and gets maybe 1,000 shillings or so across the board. Maybe save for some other few places where people would go to coffee factories or tea factories or milk factories here and there. So we need to make sure that our counties have industries. We have to make sure that counties have factories, and all counties have different potentials. There are some counties with some great potentials with some mangoes. We have some counties which are agricultural and doing so many issues here and there. And that is basically the Honourable Speaker. That's why we are supposed to make that conversation and make sure that our country is industrialized. That's the only way out we can make sure that our youth are absorbed in the job market. Honourable Speaker, we as politicians, and I think everybody is a witness to that effect. If you go to the villages today, maybe with a big car, high-end cars like the ones that we drive, the Plenaries and so forth, the people that you get along the routes, along the roads, everywhere, are the young people. And most of them are graduates. Most of them have some very skilled skills. And they are there, jobless. They are there. Actually, most of them have even fallen into praise of being used by some politicians here and there as goons, as hooligans. Purely because they want to make a living out of some funny undertakings. So, Honourable Speaker, I think it's a time bomb. It's a serious menace that as a country we are supposed to have a very serious discussion around. Honourable Speaker, it is very pathetic that today, as parents, when you strain, you want to take your child, your guardian, through the education system, the university, to all the colleges that you are sure of, you are not even sure whether this child will get a job. They say there's no job guarantee in this country anymore. The ones that are there are very rare, very scarce. And, Honourable Speaker, it's an issue that is supposed to bring on board great minds as a country to make sure that we have a very clear conversation on how we are supposed to make sure that this joblessness in this country, which has been devouring the country, is addressed once and for all. That's the only way out, Honorable Speaker, we can even minimize crime. Crime is not even the preserve of uneducated anymore. The most complicated crime that we have, I know of a certain country that I don't want to mention, where some young people have created some very serious systems and they are sipping money out of some bank account from some unsuspecting clients. So, Honorable Speaker, you know, I don't want to. Honorable Speaker Saragay is trying to disrupt me. He's trying to give me some directions. I don't want to take his directions. I know what he's talking about, but I don't want to mention any county, Honorable Speaker. But I know of some a certain county in this country where we have experts, some young guys who have been to school. Yeah, they are there. They are there, Honorable Speaker. So crime is no longer a preserve of the people who are not been to school, right? The crime today in this country, Honorable Speaker, has become very complicated because of the high level of technology. Yeah? We have even some fraudsters. Some people, recently I was witnessing a scenario in my county where some people driving big cars, very educated guys, went around calling people that they are registering for them for SHA. Yeah, once you give them your phone, they whip. I mean, they get money out of your M-Pesa account from the bank. Very, very high-end technology. Honorable Speaker, the only way how we can be able to address some of these things is to make sure that we must engage our young people, we must engage our youth in meaningful engagement, in meaningful employment. That's the only way how we can make sure that this country moves forward. And I think it's a collective responsibility for every person, for every leader, for every politician, for every person who cares to matter, to every person who cares to care about this country, Honorable Speaker. So I think, Honorable Charagay, thank you very much. I think we are supposed to take this, because the motion, Honorable Speaker, is supposed to guide. It's not even supposed to compel. You know? Honorable Speaker, we can have a very wide the interventions, very wide discussions about the motion, but that motion may end up finding itself in our dustbins here, without even finding its way to any government for that matter. So let's not do these things in futility. Let's make sure that this motion now graduates into even a bill. So where the bill is supposed to be compelling some of these institutions to make sure that we address. It is very shameful, Honorable Speaker. 60 years down the line, we are still struggling to make sure that even we cannot even feed our young people who are out of school. It's very shameful, Honorable Speaker. 60 years down the line, the country is still struggling to make sure that we cannot even absorb our young people in the job market, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Charagay, make sure that this motion is pushed to be consumed by the advantages so that we can have our young people. Because we can't have a situation where you pay somebody 50,000 shillings. It's a shameful, Honorable Speaker. So I think with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support the motion, and let's not have a motion finding its way to the dustbin, just like very many other motions that were processed in this House. I hope this motion is going to capture the attention of the intended government entities so that maybe our young people are taken care of, they are being respected. It is very disrespectful, Honorable Speaker, to pay a graduate 15,000 shillings, in this era of economy. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I strongly support.
Senator Mofa, there is another time someone told another senator that he is doing the first term in the Senate. But the advice you are giving Chelagei, who is a seasoned legislator, is actually the route you could have taken to help these interns. But maybe you get the advice from Senator Gataya next time and do the right thing. Senator Keroche Tabitha.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me the opportunity also to support this motion brought by Senator Cherangei. The Public Service Commission, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Public Service Commission for providing internship opportunity to many of our youth in various government departments and agencies for a period not exceeding 1 year. I agree This program has provided practical experience to graduates and enhanced employability. I want also to thank the private sector, because I know also they've been providing this internship opportunity to many of the youth, to many of our youth, and they've been doing it freely and getting money from their pockets. And I think my next move would be to ask the Public Service Commission to partner with the private sector to ensure that we get more numbers of our youth getting the internship opportunity to enable them get the practical experience to be able to get to their next level. I know our government, Kenya Kwanza, is working very hard, headed by our able President, Dr. William Ruto, is working very hard to ensure that he transforms this country. We've seen a lot of things happening in the country, and one of it is the housing, where it's providing a lot of jobs opportunities to our youth. But after the internship, I think the Public Service Commission should be worried that after the internship, where do these youth of ours go? So as our president is working very hard to transform this country, my wish is he continues supporting the local entrepreneurs, creating that enabling environment for even foreign investors, local investors, to ensure that after internship, our youth can get jobs opportunities. Without job opportunities, even these kids of ours, when they get that internship, and the day they are told to go home, I think psychologically they are affected to know that they've gotten the practical experience they were looking for, and they are now better people. This country, they stand a big chance to be employed, but when they walk around the country, they don't get those jobs available or the opportunities. So our president, being an entrepreneur, I know this country has many entrepreneurs. All they need is just to get that opportunity so that they can expand and ensure that the job creation is available in our own country. We need to create job opportunities for our youth. In our manifesto, I know it was to industrialize this country, and it is doable. It is doable. I don't know whether Senator Joyce has left. He talked of the Nyota program. You are around. The Nyota program is just for the people who are not educated. It is not meant for the people who are not educated. It is for everyone. So I want to talk to the youth. They take the opportunity that is provided by the government, the 50,000 shillings they can start a business with. I think by now the youth knows that the white-collar jobs are no longer available. We need now to become more innovative so that they can create jobs. They can be job creators, but not job seekers. And I think what the Kenya government is trying to do is to provide that opportunity with the Nyota to ensure that our youth becomes job creators, but not job seekers.
You want to be informed by Senator Joyce Korir. She wants to inform you something.
I don't know whether she wants to inform me.
Are you interested to be informed?
A correction.
No?
Maybe you can correct it after I finish.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just correct it after I finish. Yeah, because for me, it's on how the government is doing all it can do to ensure that our youth now become job creators but not job seekers. As we continue detached in this country, I think the youth now stands a chance to ensure that they become part and parcel of the industrializing this country. And I agree with Senator Cherangei that the step that the youth are given, the interns are given, is very retro, the 15,000 shillings. So it needs to be increased to the 30,000 shillings. And then they put in place mechanism to promote and reward innovation by the interns. Because if the interns becomes innovative, I'm very sure they will be our next entrepreneurs in this country. And of course now, provide also the number 3, maybe is to provide on how we keep a track on our youth as they do the internship, how many are getting jobs opportunities, how many are creating their own jobs, so that we can try now, the youth can know that there is a track record put in place to ensure that we are following them up, so that they don't get frustrated and we see what we are seeing, depression in our youth. We try to prevent that. But what I can say is that what Senator Cherangei has brought in as a motion, it is something we as senators, we should not leave it at this, because as many of us have agreed, we are sitting on a time bomb where if our youth are not, the job opportunities is not addressed, I think it will be a problem in the long run. But it's not even wrong, it is soon. So we should address how we can create job opportunities to our youth. But I think the government is able, and headed by His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, is burning his midnight oil to ensure that we transform this country. So the first thing is to ensure that job creation goes hand in hand to ensure that our youth are well catered for, and after they graduate, they get jobs to ensure that they can move forward. And the youth to ensure that they also go out of their way to become job creators, but not job seekers. Even as we got employed and we left the jobs, and we became who we are today because of believing in ourselves. So they just need to believe in themselves. They have an opportunity. They have a government that is providing money, free money, to do business in this country. During our time, we never got even a free shilling when we came. So we were to think and go to banks and knocks. But the money, the Nyota program, I can assure them that it is enough money to ensure that they can start the retro business that they can start, and they become job creators but not job seekers. And within a short while, they'll be employing another 1 person or 2 people. In the long run, they'll be having many people. And if the Public Service Commission partners with the private sector, I believe we'll be giving more internship to our youth. We had the 10 interns. So it means if we are supported by the government, I'm sure these companies can give more interns to many people. And it is true, especially when they go to companies, they have a different mindset, and if they see things have been done by other people, when they leave the gate, they also think twice on how they can also become entrepreneurs of their own country. So I support Senator Cherangei, and thank you so much. And I believe and I hope this motion, you push it further to ensure that the youth job creation is part of what will be helping the government to think out of the way out of the box on how our youth will be catered for on job creation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Senator David Wakoli, Wafula.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. kwa nafasi hii ambayo umenipa ili nichangie kuhusiana na mishahara ambayo vijana wa awamu ama vijana wanaofanya mazoezi katika taasisi mbalimbali, mishahara duni ama pesa finyu ambayo wanapata. Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimesikiza michango ama hoja za waheshimiwa, hususan yale ambayo serikali ya Nairobi ama serikali kuu yapaswa kufanya ili kuinua maisha ya vijana ambao wamepewa kazi kwa muda mdogo, miezi mitatu. Ieleweke fika, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwamba katika nchi ya Kenya kuna awamu mbili za serikali. Serikali inayoongozwa na Mheshimiwa Daktari William Ruto na serikali za kaunti zinazoongozwa na magavana na mabunge ya kaunti. Changamoto ambayo ningependa kuwapa wenzangu na serikali za kaunti, mchakato mzima wa kuboresha maisha ya vijana na kuwapa nafasi ya kuboresha taaluma zao haipasi kuwekwa kwa mabega ya serikali kuu peke yake, kwa sababu serikali za kaunti vile vile zinapewa pesa kutoka serikali ya Nairobi, wanakusanya ushuru ama kodi kutoka kwa washikadau katika kaunti, na vile vile mabunge ya kaunti vile vile, Mheshimiwa Spika, yana mamlaka ya kutunga sheria kama jinsi tunavyotunga, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na mimi nawapa changamoto, Mheshimiwa Spika, maseneta wenzangu, kwamba tuwarai magavana vile vile watenge fedha za kuajiri vijana kwa muda mchache jinsi serikali ya Nairobi inafanya kwa majukumu ambayo yamegatuliwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, sekta ya kilimo, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni sekta ambayo kaunti zikikita mizizi vizuri, vijana wengi walio katika vyuo anuai vya ukulima wanaweza kuboresha mapato na tija ya wakulima katika kaunti zetu. Kaunti zilizo na mifugo, kaunti zilizo na samaki, kaunti zilizo na ng'ombe na kuku, kaunti wanaopanda mahindi, ngano na kadhalika. Mheshimiwa Spika, niliona mfumo walioandikwa na serikali ya Nairobi na kaunti, wale wakulima wa biashara, kwa kibobo agropreneurs. Sawa, kuna mustakabali ya Nairobi na kaunti, lakini tunataka kuona serikali za kaunti zikichukua vijana ambao katika shule anuai na kuwanyoosha katika kuendeleza ukulima biashara katika kaunti zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Rais anazuru kaunti zote nchini akizindua mfumo wa uboreshaji nyumba zinazoweza wananchi wanaweza kujikimu kulipa. Ningependa kuuliza wenzangu na magavana, ni vijana wangapi katika vyuo anuai ambao wamesomea ufundi wamepewa nafasi ya kufanya kazi wakipata ujuzi huku wakisoma? Hizi ndizo mbinu ambazo tunaweza wapa vijana nafasi. Tumeona taasisi mbalimbali za kilimo kama Kalro, Kari na taasisi ambazo zinatoa madawa ya kupambana na magonjwa ya mifugo. Mheshimiwa Spika, taasisi hivi zimechangia kivipi kuwapa nafasi hawa vijana ili wanaporudi nyanjani wanachangia uboreshaji wa nchi ya Kenya? Sasa mimi nikimalizia, Mheshimiwa Spika, mfumo huu umekuwepo miaka mingi, lakini vijana nimeona katika simu yangu ya rununu wanauliza ni mbinu ipi, mfumo upi, mkakati ipi wao hutumia kuwachukua hao vijana ambao wanapata japo shilingi 15,000. Hao vijana wanatoka pembe zote za humu nchini. Iwapo sisi wote ni wa Kenya, vijana hawa wanasema wanapochapisha majina ya vijana hawa wawe sura ya nchi ya Kenya, kwamba vijana kutoka bonde la Ufa wawepo, vijana kutoka kwetu Ingoo kule Bungoma wawepo, vijana kutoka Nyanza wawepo, vijana kutoka Turukana na Mombasa wawepo, ili wote wanapofanya kazi katika taasisi za serikali waweze kujua kwamba nchi ni moja na nafasi zipo kwa sisi wote kujenga nchi pamoja, lakini isiwe kwamba wanapokutana ni kama indi moja katika jangwa lisilo na mmea wowote. Mheshimiwa Spika. Sasa mimi naungana na Senator Cherargei kwamba serikali ya William Ruto inasema tuungane pamoja, tupige vita ukabila, na yote inawezekana iwapo nafasi hizi zitapewa Wakenya wote pasipo kuzingatia misingi ya dini, ukabila, falsafa na umenke, yani gender kwa kibombo, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hayo mengi naunga mkono hoja ya Mheshimiwa Cherargei. Asante sana.
Senator Olekin, are you ready now?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to this motion, which, in my view, requires a complete transformation and complex policy shift from the current one, Mr. Speaker. And when we talk about a comprehensive transformational policy shift, remember that it's got pros and cons. The questions that we must ask, Mr. Speaker, is that since this program was started, to be able to absorb interns into permanent jobs. Because the question, Mr. Speaker, here for me is not about the benefits. I've read the motion as presented by the distinguished senator from Nandi, but for me, the question is not about an internship program. It is about what happened after these qualified Kenyans, who the courts in this country have actually ruled that if an intern is performing a task which is aligned to their skills, they must be treated as employees and must be protected by the law. So, Mr. Speaker, the question then begs, what do we need to do? What policy shift do we need to adopt as a country in order to be able to ensure that future generation or the younger generation are taken into consideration, are provided with job opportunities? The first question we ask is that since this program began, how has the public service been able to absorb? How many people has it been able to absorb? How many interns have they been able to place in all government ministries? And the answer is very simple, Mr. Speaker. Every year, the public service, the Ministry of Public Service, absorb about 3,000 to 3,500 interns and place them in all government ministries. In fact, Mr. Speaker, it was only in 2023, or I think maybe 2024, that the ministry absorbed about 8,000 interns and placed them into different government ministries. When you look at the level or the percentage, it was only about 7.71%, and now the ministry has moved to about 8%. Is that really having a solution? No, it is not. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to think seriously. I've listened to my colleague, Mofire, coming in with a very good proposal. And the proposal that Mofire has brought is that, Mr. Distinguished Senator Cherargei, this motion will end up in a dustbin. It is not going to be anything unless we come up with a legislation that guarantees interns jobs. You know, you're talking about increasing their benefits, but in fact, you're not even looking at the entire welfare. You're only talking about them receiving 15,000 to 30,000 shillings. What about paternal leave? What about maternity leave? What about sick leave? Those are some of the things. What about innovation benefit? Those are some of the things that we need to do. And that is why I began my arguments this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, by saying that what we need is a complex, transformative policy shift in how we deal with these interns. I have a few proposals, Mr. Speaker, which I hope that the distinguished senator will be able to note thoroughly and ensure that this motion does not remain as a motion, but it is transformed into a piece of legislation. And by then, I would hope that this House will have all the 24 delegations so that we can move. Because, Mr. Speaker, what I'm witnessing here, I never witnessed in the last Parliament. I want to be very candid. In the last Parliament, our side and the other side would be empty during the end of the term. But now it seems everybody is busy out there trying to figure out, and it's very difficult. If you look at the order paper, Mr. Speaker, we have so many bills and we cannot be able to pass them. The proposal that I want to put on this motion are as follows, Mr. Speaker. Currently, and I hope the distinguished senator will give me an ear and my colleagues would listen to this. Currently, the Kenyan government has proposed a tax incentive to the private sector, where the government will give a rebate of up to 50% of the salaries paid to private companies that are providing internships to young students, young Kenyans who are graduating. That is the path that we need to take, Mr. Speaker. Government will not be able to solve this problem. There is no African country that has absorbed all interns. It is not possible. The government is not an employment bureau. The government should make it easy, should create an enabling environment for the private sector to be able to create jobs. So, Mr. Speaker, one of my proposals would be that the distinguished Senator Cherargei from Nandi County should not only look at a review of the guidelines of the public service, but to propose a complex transformation of the policy on interns to guarantee jobs. And that way, the only way that the private sector will be able to play ball is if the government comes in with a tax incentive. Let's say, currently there's this program, I hope people know. If a company employs up to 10 interns, takes in 10 interns, they can receive up to 50% rebate on the salaries that they pay. We need to be able to encourage. You know, Mr. Speaker, the day I become president of this country, and that day will come, is a day when we'll be able to practice what we preach. Because today we don't practice what we preach. We preach and preach and preach and forget that yesterday we said ABCD. We have to scan our horizon, our current horizon, to see what is going wrong. Come up with scenarios, build scenarios, and ask ourselves, what if we did this? And the scenario that I want us to build here today, Mr. Speaker, is what if the Ministry of Treasury comes out there during the budget days and reading the budget and says that private sector, you will receive a tax rebate if you employ or if you take in interns to be able to end unemployment. What will happen? Mr. Speaker, this is not quantum physics. The first answer would end unemployment in this country, would reduce unemployed youth who are running around in this country. I was listening to Morfire, and Senator Morfire, Mr. Speaker, if you listen to Senator Morfire, he was actually speaking sense. He said that because of challenges that a lot of youth are facing in this country, they become innovative. They become hackers. They are able to get into your account and continue living a good life. You're working your butt off. And then by the time you go home, you think you have so much money. But because they are unemployed there, they use their skills to be able to get some money for them to continue living their life. So, Mr. Speaker, there are so many things that we talk about in this country, but if the day we practice what we preach is the day that we will see this country change. Yes, we come up with new innovations, but we are not rewarded. Yes, the government come up with programs that gives youth 50,000 shillings to start a job. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to equate that to what the former senator from Kiambu County did when one day he had one of his empowerment program and he donated pigs to people. Those pigs, instead of being used to multiply, those who received them slaughtered them and they had food for a week. So what if you give a youth 50,000 shillings today? You know, they might decide, I'll eat this a little bit. Maybe I'm used to eating 5,000 a month. Maybe I'll eat this for 10 months and I'll survive. This is a big challenge, Mr. Speaker. And this is a challenge that all of us here individually and collectively must sit down and critically think about solutions. Mr. Speaker, I'm currently grappling with a very complex issue where I have 100 students who I'm sponsoring at the university in Masai Mara. And I'm just saying to myself, once these students graduate, what am I going to do with them? If I give them some small seed capital, will it help them? If I place them on internships, will they be able to end up getting jobs? Or will I have just wasted my money and other partners' money to be able to educate these youth? That is one of the biggest problems that I'm having at the moment. And when I see this motion, the only thing that I can think about, Mr. Speaker, is coming up with a legislation, not a motion, that clearly identify a path to full employment, cognizant of the fact that government is not an employment bureau. Mr. Speaker, as I end, I just want to give some certain statistics which are important. That since 2019, this program has only placed 25,200 interns, an average of about 3,000 to 3,500. The absorption rate has only been about 7%. What happened to the other 93%? Are they wallowing in poverty or in debt? So we need to be alive to the fact that it is very, very, very difficult for the government to be able to absorb all these interns. We must review the guidelines, Mr. Speaker, but not only before we develop a legislation, if we can be able to implement fully, we need to review the guidelines to include the following, Mr. Speaker. One of the concerns that the distinguished senator is having is interns who are in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu. Well, what about those ones who are in hardship regions, Turkana, Narok, Nandi? You know, we need to think thoroughly and critically and think outside the box and say, it is now time for us to review this policy and include, number one, sick leave, number two, paternal, number three, maternal leave or maternity, and most importantly, align the interns with their skills so that they can be market ready. That is critical, Mr. Speaker. When we were interns, I worked as an intern at the European Business News in London. And the first thing I did was to make sure that the newsreader who was reading, I would print the news and take the news to the newsreader. During the process, I'll be able to understand how a script is drafted, what is important. I was aligned to my practice, to my career, and I was market ready. So, Mr. Speaker, that is important. It is also important, Mr. Speaker, that once we are reviewing this policy, to develop a standardized recruitment process that is very clear, that it will be able to provide equal opportunities for everyone. There are young people who need just an attachment. Mr. Speaker, just add me 30 seconds, I finish my word. An attachment. This attachment, unless they know you, unless they know the senator, they cannot be able to get. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this motion, but I do hope that Senator Cherogei we'll take the advice we've given. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Izena Remaratian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to contribute to the motion by the Honorable Senator for Nandi, Senator Cherargei. Mr. Speaker, as the youth senator, I cannot afford not to put my word across as far as this motion is concerned. And I want to agree with my colleagues that there is a need for a policy change in this country. But even most importantly, there is a need for a shift in mindset. Why do I say this? Mr. Speaker, interns go through a lot, and most of them are actually breadwinners. Most of our youth working in the government offices, in various government institutions, are breadwinners. And I'm sure if we were to rank countries, the level of depression of the young people in countries globally, Kenya will rank among the top. This is why you see them very, very much aggressive on social media, aggressive on the streets. It's because of the level of frustration that our young people are going through. Mr. Speaker, we need a shift in mindset in our country as far as the administration is concerned. We need to think about programs and projects that will create one of the largest agricultural producers across the continent and globally. We have a very good climate. We have a very good soils. We have enough rainfall in most parts of this country. We have enough land, Mr. Speaker. And if we are able to convert these idle, huge tracts of land into agricultural fields, into plantations, we are able to secure the future and the future of our country as far as food security is concerned. It is so painful when I see sometimes that we have to import maize, we have to import some agricultural produce, when in reality, many of our young people are sitting idle. And these are hardworking people, because I know most of the youth right now are late millennials and Gen Zs. These are people who are very hardworking and can get into business. Mr. Speaker, I have just come back from Ethiopia, and we realized that Ethiopia has beaten us as far as agriculture is concerned, because we were there with our Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries Committee. There is a policy in Ethiopia that the administration has put in place that restricts land fragmentation. And what is the consequence of this? The consequence is that we have enough land for production, and citizens are constricted into planned housing development. And once you put citizens to live at a certain place, we have enough land for people to produce. And shockingly, Mr. Speaker, in Ethiopia, agriculture is making up over 50% of the country's GDP. Now, you tell me, how much would Kenya make, given that we are gifted in everything? We have minerals, we have the manpower, we have brains. Our youth have brains. They are able to spur development in this country and take us to the next level. Mr. Speaker, I also believe that the government has done quite a lot as far as trying to reduce the level of unemployment in this country. But who is talking about it? Who is marketing what the government has done? How many people are talking about the programs that are put in place? Who is this bridging the gap between the government and the youth? Because there is clearly a huge gap. When you hear the president talking about the things he has done to secure the future of this country, to secure the youth, and you ask yourself, so who is telling the youth what is being done? Because they are totally oblivious. There is need, in my view, there is need to create an independent ministry for the youth affairs. Because, Mr. Speaker, the youth make up the largest demographic in this country. We make up the largest voting bloc in this country. We make up over 75% population of Kenya. That means we cannot afford to have the youth ministry, the youth affairs being put under, and I don't know, the under culture and sports. Those are very diverse things. I don't even see the correlation between the three. If we have an independent youth ministry, we are able to have a budget for the youth, we are able to streamline all government operations through the ministry so that we are able to take care of the business of the youth, because it's a very huge business, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank my party leader, Raila Odinga, because he had a dream, Mr. Speaker. Baba had a dream in the last campaigns, and he wanted the Ministry of Youth to be an independent ministry. Because, Mr. Speaker, the youth occupied a very central part of his heart, and he understood that the country is going nowhere if we are not talking about the youth. The country is doing nothing if we are not prioritizing the largest demographic of our country. I have worked in several ministries, state ministries, before I became a senator, Mr. Speaker. And I remember at one point in a state department, I was working under the Department of Finance, and one of the ladies could barely even see the computer, Mr. Speaker. She was struggling to peep what was in the computer. Because the boss, the top dog in that state department, was from her tribe. And I was the only young person in that state department, in the Department of Finance. And I was given a lot of workload. Being punished for being young, being punished for being new, and even maybe for being a minority. Yet, such opportunities should go to very many young Kenyans, very many youth who are your children, for your information. Mr. Speaker, if the administration is able to shift its mind and start thinking of producing rather than consuming, we will start thinking about the manufacturing sector. We will start thinking about factories. We will start thinking about farms. Kenyan youth are very talented and gifted. You can see what they are creating with AI. Is this AI controlled within the Republic of Kenya? If we advance technology, there is so much potential technology. Kenya is, I think, ranking as the second largest consumer of internet continent-wide, after South Africa. Not even Nigeria has beaten Kenya. Why? Despite having the largest population, thank you. Despite having the largest population, over 250 million, compared to the 50 million of Kenya, Kenya ranks as the second consumer of internet continent-wide. Because in Nigeria, internet is expensive. So how are we utilizing the affordable internet in Kenya to benefit our youth, to benefit the largest demographic in our country? It's the same thing I always say when campaigning. You cannot think of taking care of a nation without taking care of the largest population of that nation. And when you secure the youth, you give them opportunities in agriculture, in technology, in manufacturing, we will be killing so many birds with one stone. One, we will be securing the future of Kenya as far as food is concerned. We will no longer be borrowing. Isn't it shameful for a nation to borrow food from outside when our youth are sitting idle? When we have land sitting idle? We should be thinking of projects in water, providing water to nomads in the north so that we can farm with our lands. How many investors are coming to set up factories in Kenya? What are we doing with our policies to ensure that our country is an attractive destination for manufacturing? What are we as state officers doing to ensure that when an investor comes, you don't first of all ask them for corruption, for bribery? When Aliko Dangote was trying to set up a plant in Kenya for cement manufacturing, what happened? Mr. Speaker, he ran away because of corruption. How many opportunities would the Dangote cement factory would have brought to the young people in Kenya? How much frustration is being put on our local investors who have been here for so long? Mr. Speaker, there is a need to start thinking of our youth as our children, as people deserving of a decent life, a decent wage bill, decent employment. There is need for NYS to be made mandatory, and these young people paid something while they are in school. If you look at all the nations that have developed since the time immemorial, their story of success and growth has been rooted in investing in the future of the youth. Look at the West African countries that have just gone through a coup. These leaders have taken initiative to invest in agriculture, in manufacturing. I have seen Burkina Faso relaunching its airline for the first time, Mr. Speaker. While Kenya, we are sitting here being a nation that has developed years ago, but we are still being defeated by small nation. How much are we producing to be able to borrow for loans, to be able to borrow? Personally, I'm very embarrassed to borrow something when I know I can actually get my hands in the mud and get it. I have sold pancakes and mandazis because I couldn't get a job in this government, because I did not know anybody. When I speak for the youth, it's because I have lived and walked this journey. And this was like 6 years ago. It was not long, Mr. Speaker. In this country, we must shun nepotism. We must shun tribalism. My fellow senators, be ready to employ somebody whom you are not related to. State officers and government agencies should be able to employ somebody even if they do not know them, as long as they are qualified. The requirements to be employed should be reduced, Mr. Speaker. You cannot continually impoverish families by not giving the young people whose parents and families have impoverished themselves to school them, and still they have to wait for close to 10 years to get a decent job. And then the same government wants to take care of the same parents that it has impoverished. This is a repetitive circle of poverty, which we have the power as a nation to change. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, this motion has surpassed its time allocated. So, Senator Charagai, the move has 15 minutes. If you are magnanimous enough, you can share with Senator Catherine Muma. You have 15 minutes with the Senator Catherine Muma and Senator Mandago Jackson. The choice is yours.
Mr. Speaker, you know I'm always very generous. I'll allow 3-4 minutes to Senator Muma and 3 to 4 minutes to Senator Mandago.
Very well, Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you so much, Speaker, and thank you, Senator Gerard Gay, for the opportunity to contribute to this. First, to thank you for bringing this motion, and this motion is pregnant with issues beyond what you have raised. And for every speaker who has spoken here, I hope you will be able to pick something and you will move beyond this motion and bring something more substantive, akin to a policy, possibly a legislative framework that can assist us. Honorable Speaker, the government, the internship program as guided by the Ministry or the Commission on Public Service is a drop in the ocean of what is required. If you look at the numbers that have participated in this program since 2019, you are talking about possibly less than 2% of what is required. Now, internship is not always, I don't think it's already 3 minutes, surely. Surely. What are you trying? Now, internship is not necessarily after qualification. You will notice that in most universities, nearly all, internship is a pre-qualification requirement. What you do not know, or what many of us do not appreciate, that we have many students in this country who have never qualified, got their degrees, because they never got an opportunity to intern. Many of them. So even as we are looking at these issues, and I'm cognizant of the time, so I will hurry, I would want us to be able to come up with a law that will give fair opportunity and equal access to every graduate or learning student to be able to intern, not because they know somebody, but because it is their right to go through that if they must qualify. Honorable Speaker, for this to happen, we need a deliberate cooperation between industry, private sector, and the universities and the tertiary institutions. But even as we do so, there is a second issue in terms of abuse of internships. Honorable Speaker, we have workplaces that actually abuse internship. They employ fewer than what is required on their workforce so that they can pay less to interns and use the interns' time. We have doctors who continue to be paid internship salaries. We even have some other professionals continuing told you can stay on condition you stay with your salary as an intern. In my view, those are abuse of labor practices. So if we do this law, we must also be able to protect interns who are vulnerable from workplaces that want to abuse their resource to enrich themselves. Honorable Speaker, as I said, there is an even bigger problem. If we use last year's graduated students, 2024, about 1 million left O-levels. And only 300,000 were uptaken in the tertiary institutions and universities. We have a whooping 600 and something thousand who have not been taken in any tertiary institution, and we have idle VTCs by governors. And Senator Hezena, you will be sad to know when we met with Samburu, Samburu has only one VTC that was built in
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, Senator Cherargei, for allowing us to use your time to contribute to this motion. Honorable Speaker, first let me say that internship is a very good program. However, the current numbers that are being taken by Public Service Commission is way below what we would expect PSC to do in order to help the many young people we have in the country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, currently PSC takes 9,000 interns. That translates to about only 6 in every ward in this country, Honorable Speaker, but the distribution has not been fair and equitable, Honorable Speaker. My proposal to Senator Cherargei, even as he considers this, Honorable Speaker, number 1, is to make sure that all internship positions are distributed per ward level to ensure there is reach to every part of this nation, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, number 2, interns should not only be placed in public institutions, they should also be placed in the private sector, but paid by government. Honorable Speaker, this is to ensure that we don't take interns just for the sake, to make them idle. In some organizations, you find they're being treated as T-boys, messengers, T-girls, and so forth, instead of the interns actually participating in the areas they trained in, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there is need in this country, and we must have a candid conversation as a nation, and Parliament, Honorable Speaker, Senate must lead this conversation, that we have to increase the number of interns from 9,000 to around 300,000 for it to make sense in this country. Honorable Speaker, that will call for a budget provision. It will call for a cut in some of our expenditure in the budget, Honorable Speaker, even if it calls for cutting on infrastructural development, Honorable Speaker, to make sure that these young people are given opportunity to acquire skills further and be engaged meaningfully, Honorable Speaker, even as they mature. This period will also allow them a period to mature, Honorable Speaker, and be able to make progress in life and be able to make some quality decision, even as they live under supervision in government. Honorable Speaker, my proposal is to have interns taken for 3 years. After 3 years, Honorable Speaker, they should be given a 3-year contract. What does that mean, Honorable Speaker? It means the unions in this country must also wake up to the reality that there are very minimal employment opportunities currently existing. It will be therefore profitable for this country to make sure that we are able to take these interns to the next level by giving them contracts. They must be ready. We must change the employment model we have in the country. We are not going to stick to permanent and pensionable when it is not a reality, Honorable Speaker. What is the point of sticking to permanent and pensionable when in a year, public service will only recruit 5,000 people? We should now move to contract. Honorable Speaker, as a measure on that, so that we are able to achieve, we should freeze employment in public service and state departments and parastatals and provide the subsequent accruing funds for internship, Honorable Speaker, and make it possible for these people to get. Honorable Speaker, we must also realize that the current public service of Kenya does not reflect the face of Kenya. This internship is an opportunity to make sure we set aside 150,000 together for the marginalized and bring them up in a speed manner to make sure we have sufficient workforce from all the communities in the country. Honorable Speaker, there will be no other opportunity. This internship will provide that opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask Senator Cherargei to also consider, in this internship program, Honorable Speaker, let me say that the question people will ask is, where will the money come from? I have proposed, Senator Cherargei, we must consider a cut in the money we are spending on roads. There is no need to do a tarmac for everybody to go to Honorable Speaker, so that we can have these interns. Honorable Speaker, there is some money lying somewhere, and some banks have been enjoying this money quietly for a while. This is money accruing from unclaimed assets, Honorable Speaker. As we speak today, that money is close to 30 billion. Some banks somewhere are just enjoying interest rates. That is a free customer who has given you 30 billion. We can utilize that 30 billion on internship program. Government can always budget 2-3 billion to pay the assets that people claim. But these that has accrued over time, Honorable Speaker, we ask the President of the Republic of Kenya for changing from subsidizing consumption to subsidizing production. That is how interns are going to be supported, and that is how this country is going to move forward. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Cherargei.
Senator Cherargei, now reply.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For this opportunity, I want to thank you and many colleagues which I'll mention, but let me make the following observation. One is, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank colleagues who have taken time. The issue of youth unemployment is a ticking time bomb. Mr. Speaker, I have noticed that most Kenyans or most people don't understand that young people are segregated into 2 or 3 groups. One, there are young people who are graduates and looking for jobs. Mr. Speaker, there are young people who are in border sector or informal sector who are doing businesses and agriculture. Mr. Speaker, there is the final group of youth who are still school-going youth who want bursary, who want support. Mr. Speaker, the same energy we used to organize empowerment programs for the young people in border sector and other sectors to start up their business is we must use the same energy to give opportunities to many young people who are graduates, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I agree that the role of Public Service Commission should be extended to county governments and private sector. This collaboration, and I want to appeal to government, that any private sector, Mr. Speaker, who wills and ready to take in turns from young Kenyans in this republic, Mr. Speaker, will be able to give them tax incentive or tax exemptions so that they can pay young people in internship, Mr. Speaker. I believe 15,000 or 25,000 to the PSC interns is not sufficient. We must live within the economic realities and ensure the young people earn from 50,000 and above, Mr. Speaker. I agree they must be provided with transport subsidy. We must also consider providing digital tools to the interns, Mr. Speaker. We must also consider them in giving them health insurance, especially enrolling them, Mr. Speaker, to the SHA program, Social Health Authority program, Mr. Speaker. We must also ensure there are mechanisms or incentives or protecting patterns to innovations that are done by interns, Mr. Speaker. And I want to distinguish, Mr. Speaker, because when these interns are working, there is sometimes two innovations that must be protected by the intellectual property law of this republic, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am aware there is also consideration of leave and off days, Mr. Speaker, and even maternity leave or paternity leave, because the fact that they're interns does not deny them their labor rights as per Article 41 of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. I have noted that government has really tried, even with the introduction of Kazi Maju, Mr. Speaker, the introduction of Nyota program, the introduction of Asala Fund, Mr. Speaker, to try and provide opportunities to the many young people. But this one does not capture graduates. Mr. Speaker, we are targeting graduates so that they can have opportunity. Be it the graduate of certificates, be it the graduate of diploma, be it the graduates of degree, Mr. Speaker, we must be allowed. Mr. Speaker, number 4, we must audit how many young people have employed under PSC. Mr. Speaker, it is sad that the distribution of internship slots is not uniform in the country. We must be pushed for equality and equity and ensure every ward in the Republic of Kenya must be given a slot in the PSC interns and county governments interns and the private sector, Mr. Speaker. It is sad, Mr. Speaker, and I want to inform the House that out of 250,000 graduates, the PSC only takes interns 9,000, Mr. Speaker. That's less than 10% of 250,000 graduates that we are having, Mr. Speaker. I agree, even the NYS youth, Mr. Speaker, you see them, they assisted us, and I want to thank the National Youth Service. You saw whenever we have problems, we have big functions, like even when we were receiving Baba Raila Amolo Odinga remains here in Parliament, in Kasarani, in Nyayo, in Bondo, Mr. Speaker, in Kondele, and Jomo Kenyatta Stadium in Kisumu. Most of the workforce support, Mr. Speaker, were from the NYS youth. So I want to call upon the Ministry of Interior to ensure that anybody who has gone to NYS, they must and should be transited to the police, paramilitary training, Mr. Speaker, and even to KDF, Kenya Defense Forces, so that we don't lose these young people who have been trained, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, number 5, and finally, is to acknowledge, I know you have received these SMSs because I am your friend. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the JSS interns, junior secondary schools interns, the moguls, Mr. Speaker, that we have had you. You don't need to spam our phones with SMSs, Mr. Speaker. The 20,000 JSS interns will be confirmed by January 2026 as per the presidential directive, Mr. Speaker. I am aware, Mr. Speaker, that they are paid merely 17,000 per month, Mr. Speaker. I receive an SMS from a junior secondary school intern, a Mugul, Mr. Speaker, in this Nairobi, that is a teacher. That 17,000 cannot sustain the family or even buying uniform or even clothes, Mr. Speaker. Until he was telling me, Mr. Speaker, maybe you can add me 30 seconds to conclude.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, and that JSS intern, and I know they are in Meru, they are all over the country, was telling me they cannot even buy clothes until when they go to classroom, children chide them and they tell them, Mwalimu amerudia nguo ya jana, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is the sad reality. That is the self-esteem, Mr. Speaker. Some of them are losing spouses to our babas, Mr. Speaker, and sponsors in this city because of the money. 17,000 cannot sustain, Mr. Speaker, their livelihood. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the following senators, and I know Parliament does not exist in vain. Parliament should and must ensure. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Senator Okenyuri, Senator Eddie Okey, Senator Karen Nyamu, Senator Mutinda, Senator Otsosi, Senator Amida, Senator Medu, Senator Jeriot, Majority Leader, Senator Sifuna, Senator Wambua, Senator Abbas, Senator Manso, Senator Wakwabubi, Senator Korir, Senator Muma, Senator Mandago, Senator Lemaletia, Nesena, Senator Ledama, Senator Wakoli, Senator Karanja Tabita, Senator Kataya, for the invaluable support, Mr. Speaker, so that we can move into the future. So I want to assure the instance, the Parliament will stand with you and will ensure they are confirmed to permanent and pensionable. Mr. Speaker, understanding order 66.3, I request that the putting of question be deferred to a later date at the convenience of the House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Your request is given to you. So,
next order.
Order number 17, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. William Karungo Michael regarding the Changara Water Pan, a World Bank funded project in Busia County.
Just a few seconds. Can the senator sit down, please? Take your seats. Senator Thangwa is not here, so that is deferred. Next order.
Order number 18, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment.
That was Senator Faki. That not, you said Senator Faki. It is deferred.
Order number 18, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Francis Wainaina Njuguna Mbogo concerning historical injustices and illegal alienation of LR number 7153 to 7153R, also known as LR number 12825 in Kiambu County.
I don't see the chairman for environment. That is deferred. Next order.
Order number 19, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. James Maura Njoroge and other Nyandarua internally displaced persons concerning delayed compensation and occupation of parcels of land.
Deferred. I don't see the chair for environment. Next order.
Order number 20, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Wananchi Self-Help Group regarding land ownership dispute of the Mwananchi Settlement Scheme in Mwatate constituency in Taita Taveta County.
Deferred. The chair environment is not here. Next order.
Order number 21, motion, progress report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on an inquiry into the diversity and inclusivity in the staff composition of state agencies in Kenya.
It is the, I don't see the chair cohesion. That is deferred. Next order.
Order number 22, motion, report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on implementation of the Senate resolution on the current state of the nation made on Wednesday, 24th July, 2024.
That's deferred. The chair cohesion is not here. Next order.
Order number 23, the Public Finance Management Amendment number 4 Bill, National Assembly Bills number 45 of 2024, second reading.
The mover is not here, majority is not here. That is deferred. Next order.
Order number 24, the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 46 of 2023, second reading.
Senator Maruma is not here. It is deferred.
Order number 20.
Sorry, next order.
Order number 25, the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 49 of 2023, second reading.
Senator Seki is not here. It is deferred. Next order.
Order number 26, the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2024, second reading.
It is deferred. DS is not here. Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 5th November 2025 at 9:30 a.m.